Okay, so the last video I did for Voro Motors EMove Cruiser scooter, e-scooter, was about the scooter stopping 20 times, more than 20 times on the way home in a ride that was less than an hour, riding through the mean streets of West Philadelphia. As you see the backdrop behind me, it reads "The Beauty of Change," and right in front of it you see the EMove Cruiser scooter of the orange variety. And this being Black Friday, a lot of people are going to be shopping and wondering, what should I get my loved one for Christmas? That if you still have money in your account after the economy is the way that it is. So you're wondering, should I buy the EMove Cruiser scooter from Voro Motors? I've been seeing the advertisements everywhere. I've been bombarded with their ads on Instagram, other forms of social media, and the web. So I want to know, should I get it? It's beautiful, right? Unlike other scooters, it has some color. Well, I am going to update you with my experience with Voro Motors, the company. Of course, you know, this is the kind that weighs about 65 pounds, the kind that folds up, the kind that has the extended battery life, and of course, you know, now has a lot of controller issues. So with that being said, let's get started. Voro Motors EMove Cruiser scooter has a main problem, has a big problem. The big problem that the scooter is having is that it suffers from one major thing that a lot of startup companies have, and then a lot of times they disappear or they improve with the other generations. But this cruiser scooter over here has a major problem with quality control. This is the one that retails for about $1,600 if you get the $200 rebate around the holidays or wherever you are offered one. The other major issue that it has parts that break often. Screws fall off. It shouldn't be happening with every scooter, so you have to check the screws every time you ride this scooter. I didn't even know some were missing until I had to take it in for servicing the second time, and they recommend that you get it checked every ride because screws will fall off just on a normal ride. And maybe some of you already know that you have to check the screws periodically, but if you are upgrading from a scooter like the Segway 9-bot, you know that you don't have to check for screws falling off or brakes not being as tight as they should be on the 9-bot. So after my last video about the cruiser stopping more than 20 times on a short ride, I uploaded the video to the 2 pages that EMove Cruiser has on Facebook, or Voro Motors has on Facebook. The first page that I uploaded it to, it didn't last even 20 minutes. It was taken down by the company right away. I posted it to another one at the same time, and they were both taken down. I then proceeded to take my scooter to the Brooklyn location. Of course, you know, Voro Motors has 2 major locations in the United States. One in New York and Brooklyn, where the Nets have their practice facility in Brooklyn, that is a section of Brooklyn. And then they have another one in California, which I believe is their main one. But if you are living in any other states that is not New York or California, Los Angeles, pardon the bell, school's out, but they don't know that yet, that you are going to either be shipped apart from Voro Motors and pay an arm and a leg for shipping and handling, or you are and be responsible for the repairs yourself, or you are actually going to physically have to take it down to their location in Brooklyn. And that's what I did for, I'm going to say now, probably the 2nd or 3rd time. It's been so many times that I lose track, because every time they keep increasing the time that they take to repair the scooter. So the first thing that they did when I took it back this time, the first thing that they did was they offered me same-day service for $37. I read that this could be done, and when you fill out the paperwork, it has a section that you can check off if you want same-day service for $37 and some change. I checked that off, and they were nice enough to call me about, let's say, 45 minutes later to tell me that it couldn't be serviced the same day because they had a lot of other scooters to repair. So, of course, you go, pay for parking, and they let you know they can't fix it the same day. Cool. They are able to tell you that they were able to tell me long enough so I won't have to wait the whole day. But it was a nice day in New York. You stay for a few hours. But what you don't realize is that not only could they not do it the same day, it took them a month and 2 weeks for them to tell me what was wrong with the scooter. Meaning, and it's, never mind, it's starting to rain here, but we're gonna stay here for just until the entirety of this recording. It took a month and 2 days for them to tell me what was wrong with the scooter. When I was there, I ran into 2 other people on the way in that also told me that they had controller problems with this scooter. This is people who I did not know, just strangers, just talking to them. They were there with the same issue with the controller of this scooter. Now, the way that I found out that my scooter was ready was by me calling the company, and then they told me, can you give us your name and information? Yep, we have you here in the system, but what we're going to have to do is we're going to call you back as soon as we hear everything. I'm going to expedite this because I saw that you brought the scooter in about a month ago. And when a company does this, you could think about, they're doing this for 2 things. 1, or 3 things. They don't know what's wrong with the scooter, they don't have the part that they need, or they are waiting for the warranty to expire so that they won't have to deal with this issue. Now, silly me, I just bought the scooter at face value. I wanted to ride it and have fun on the streets, use it as a commuter vehicle, but also use it when I am not commuting and just for recreation, for enjoyment. The reason I am talking more than I am riding the scooter is because of issues like this. Anytime you see a scooter, that there's a lot more conversation about the scooter than there is about people riding the scooter, it's because they have a quality control issue that they don't want to admit. 2 people with the same issue when I was going in there. It says a lot about the scooter. We didn't know each other, different places. We both brought our scooter in at the same time and for the same controller issue. What I was told, and I will reserve some names just to keep the anonymity of the people that I've dealt with, but the young man in the front, he told me, well, we do have a controller issue. This is after I went to pick up my scooter. It took him a month. After I called after a month, it took 2 weeks from that time for them to tell me that the scooter was ready. Oh, by the way, while you're waiting, what kind of gets to you is that they're sending you offers for new scooters. They're sending you rebate coupons for other scooters that you think to yourself, why would I invest again in a company that is not fixing my original problem, but now they want me to buy a whole new products so it could have a new set of problems that is not going to be addressed on a timely basis. Now, don't get me wrong. The first time I took my scooter in was for a controller issue, and they replaced it right away. But guess what? It happened again. And after it happens again, you have to wonder, well, how good is the quality control issue? And I'm just getting to the beginning of some of the issues that I've had with this scooter. So I go to pick up my scooter, and that's where and here is what a lot of you have asked me as far as an update. What was wrong with it? And the reason I haven't updated you a lot is because I haven't ridden it a lot. I don't like riding things that are not that reliable. At this point, it's not even fun. So I'll be honest with you. And they haven't offered me any kind of rebate, any kind of promotion for anything except those rebates on new scooters that at this point I'm not recommending to anybody, or I'm not saying that you should even invest in this company. If they're going to get better for future editions, future generations, they might do that. I don't know. But as far as their current product, their current EMove Cruiser generations, don't do it. You're going to have more headaches. You're going to see more videos like this, unless they take it down or delete it, of people actually talking about their problems with the scooter than actually riding. So when I went to pick up my scooter, by the way, I was never returned the $37. I was in charge for repairs, but I wasn't returned those $37 for the same day service. I guess that's the price they paid for, that I had to pay for a month and a half of not having the scooter in my possession. So what they told me was, here's what's happening, because I asked naturally what's the issue, because they give you a list of things that they check, but you went in there for a specific issue. You go in there because of the controller issue. They said they had a bad batch of controllers, and they don't know which scooters they put those bad batches of controllers into. So it could be this one, or it could be hundreds of others, and they don't know until people call back like I did and say, hey, we're having controller issues. And in my pocket here I have Exhibit A. They handed me this. This is the bad controller that they handed me that did not work. And if you go on Amazon right now and you check this controller right here, how much does it retail for? It retails for anywhere from $24 to about $40. And if you read the reviews, they are horrible. So what do we know about Voro Motors right now as of this date in 2022, Black Friday on 2022? They seem to cut a lot of corners. They seem to up the price, but they seem to cut a lot of corners. So this is the controller that they put inside of the scooter. It doesn't particularly smell burned or burned out. You look at the ends, you see no signs of burn or anything like that. But this is a controller that stopped 20 times. We actually get to see it in the living flesh right here in front of me. They handed this to me. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. Am I supposed to open it up or do a DNA test or forensics exam on this? But this is the kind of thing that you look at and you say, wow, I could have got this myself from Amazon and saved myself a whole bunch of trouble. Not only that, if it's just going to stop 20 times in one ride, what's the use of even keep bringing it down? You waste more money on gas and tolls than you do on helping yourself. So what they told me was they are working on a new controller. And what does that tell you? Naturally, this is a recall vehicle. Any vehicle, any car that stops 20 times on the road is accident prone. Any car that stops 20 times while you're riding at full speed, or even medium speed, if it gets to full speed, if you're able to do that, this is a recall product. It has faulty mechanism that will not last. Another thing that's wrong with the scooter is the folding mechanism. The screw that comes in there, I believe it's part number 12 or 13 in the catalog for Voro Motors on their website. That costs about $7 to $10 to replace. It's made of aluminum, so it keeps snapping off. A part that costs 33 cents in your hardware store, you might get it a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, and it will still fit. You might get instead of the 55 millimeter, you might get the 60 millimeter, and it will still fit, but you will get one that's stainless steel and will last longer. It does not come as a basic staple of this scooter. That's a quality control issue. This is a recall issue. And as you see on the wall, it says the beauty of change. Under my comment section, you'll see a few people that have commented or messaged me privately, which I recommend. I don't want anyone to get in trouble for this. Again, our thing is to inform the customer before you buy it, so you understand what you're getting and you understand what you're not getting, so you won't waste your hard-earned money during the holiday season or at any other time. Imagine giving this as a gift. Imagine you riding this vehicle at a fast speed and it giving you problems in an area that's not so safe, and you're caught out there because it doesn't work. This scooter has limited miles on it, and it's a recall machine. This is what they say was the issue. Do I know if that's the truth? I don't know. I just know it was sitting in their possession for a month and a half, just there. I don't know if they were waiting for parts from China, because that's where it's made. These are Chinese parts. But people in my comment section have said you should just stick to mini motors. At this point, I might as well just stick to walking, because it'll get me faster than I would go anywhere with this $1,600 piece of furniture that's just going to be laying in your house without being used. Now, the other thing that you're going to notice about this scooter is the part where you see the LCD screen. All of a sudden I start noticing it's starting to split also. It's made of cheap plastic. And do you think I'm really going to go down to Voro Motors to have that fixed after my experience so far? It's been 3 times. And what they said, just to be clear, I want to be clear because sometimes people say, what, it was a specific issue. What they told me was this: they are redesigning the controller for this scooter. And by redesigning, meaning that they know that they have issues. They had a faulty batch, or they had them made that way. And in the new generation, they're going to start calling people who've had this issue to have it replaced. They did not give me the new one. I guess that's what they were waiting for the new one to come out, but it was just taking so long. And so they just had whatever's there. And they said, if it stops along the way, we're just going to have it here waiting until we get the new one, because that's what we're doing right now. We're just waiting for the new one to come out. So I'm waiting for that call on this vehicle. It could come out sometime next year. I hope that this vehicle is one that gets recalled. But one thing that you're going to see by Voro Motors, they only keep the positive reviews on their site. So don't go by that. If you need to go by something, go to their FCC rating online. Go to the FCC rating, not the FCC rating, excuse me, the Better Business Bureau, the BBB, the Better Business Bureau rating on this product, and see if it rises to be above of a D, of a grade of a D. You're going to see it has an F rating. And for a product that is going to go on major streets, that is an absolute failure. And look at some of the reviews: controller issues, customer service issues. This is something that, and these are new reviews. These are not ancient reviews that the company changed hands and then you're reading reviews from whoever used to own the company before. So if you can save your money and go someplace else, please do that. Please do that. Okay, so now I'm home, and I guess they did do some quality control on this. And by quality control, I mean, I guess some people have been also looking at the brakes. The brakes are also another issue that the scooter has. What's happening with the brakes, it has settings that you can change under the P settings. And if you don't know about the P settings, then you're missing out on all the controls and all the settings that this scooter can do. If you hold down the power button and the mode button for about 2 seconds, you enter the P mode. And the P mode is where you are going to find settings for the brakes, for the kilometer settings versus the miles, whether you want the scooter to accelerate hardly or gradually. That's where you're going to find settings as far as other things. It has about 9 different P settings. Now, as far as the brakes, it has graduate, moderate, and hard electric brakes. They changed it to the hard electric brakes, I guess because they must have seen my reviews about the brakes being so shoddy. When you hit the brakes just a little bit on the hard brakes, you almost fly over the steering wheel. That's another quality control safety issue that this scooter has. If you don't like to fly over the steering wheel, and of course, you know, if you work in the city or you live in the city, you can have cars cutting in front of you in traffic, or children or pets just cut in front of you, or a pothole that appears out of nowhere. You are going to want to really consider these brakes on these scooters, reconsider, because it stops and you're flying over it like that. Literally, I am not joking. The only reason I'm not showing you right now is because of another issue I'm having with the scooter that you are going to be surprised by, but possibly not. The other thing that's happening with this scooter is that the brakes, they tend to snap off. They snapped off twice since the second time I got it back. They snap in the back, they just snap. And luckily, I have some bike shops near me. You get it replaced, but guess what? Every time you get it replaced, it's about another $40, right? Because it's a big instrument and they have to take their time to do it. And that's $40 if you go to a place that doesn't charge a lot, like a mom and pop shop, and not one of these major bike chains like Keswick Bicycles. If you're in New York, there are a few places that might do it. I know around Dyckman and Washington Heights, if you go to Mexibike in South Philadelphia, they might do it for about $40. But if you go into another bike shop, if they do it, some of them don't want to waste time doing it, you might pay up to $90 just getting the brakes changed. And the reason that they give is because they're so strong that it just gonna snap the wire. Okay, quality control issue. By the way, the brakes shouldn't be having to stop that aggressively. Now in the P settings, you can change it to gradual. The thing about changing it to gradual, you feel nothing. You feel you holding the brakes and nothing is happening for a long time. And they recommend not riding it in the rain, but if it's a sleek day just with a little drizzle, it's not going to stop at all. And that's a quality control issue. That's a safety issue, because if there's something in front of you, you're just not going to be able to stop in time. So you have two choices with the scooter. You can either stop aggressively and fall over the handlebars, or you can not stop at all and fall right into traffic and do the Flintstones method of stopping your vehicle by stopping it with your feet. What else can I say about the scooter? Positive things, all right? Balance, right? Let's balance it out. It's a beautiful scooter. You're gonna get a lot of looks. People are gonna ask you, where did you get the scooter, right? I'm sure that's why they did it, without knowing that inside of it has a lot of faulty mechanisms and things that perhaps you don't want in a scooter. Is it the perfect scooter? No. Is it good for flatlands? Probably. Are you going to have issues? Yes. Now, I told you I had another major issue when I got it back. I noticed that the front tire, and this is not just me saying this time, I had a friend who I worked with come and also complain about the front wheel on this scooter. What it does, it wobbles, right? It wobbles out of nowhere. It just starts wobbling, starts moving erratically, and it doesn't matter how well you tighten all the screws on it, it's just going to wobble. It's something I didn't notice before, but I noticed it when he mentioned it, and when I finally got my scooter back a month and a half later, I noticed that that's something that it was doing. It just wobbles erratically and it doesn't feel safe. Anything over 10 miles per hour on this scooter, right, it starts to wobble. And this scooter goes up to 30 miles per hour. It just starts shaking uncontrollably. It looks like it's going to fall off. You expect your face to hit the pavement at any moment. The other thing is, I don't know if you see it from here, but the front light, that lamp in the front, you have to keep tightening it every other day, because before you know it, that light is going to slope over and start hitting the tire on that wobbly front tire in the front. So that's a failure. That's, I don't know, that goes beyond quality control. That's into design control. Now, if you're thinking this is just a newer generation thing, I might find better luck with myself. Well, that same friend that I'm talking to you about, he bought another version of, not another version of the scooter, but another model from the same company that has a stem issue. A lot of you might know which one it is, but it has a stem issue. I believe it's the Mantis GT. Even some people that work there who I've spoken to privately own the Mantis GT. And what's happening at the stem, at the base of the stem, it's when you turn, it's beginning to separate. So they use cheap metal, if you could even call it that. It's probably the kind of metal that they use on some pots that just breaks and corrodes. But from light use, it's breaking already. So what some people have said in my comment section is, if you want to avoid problems with scooters, just invest in a mini motor scooter. And that's something that a few of my friends have done. I'm not being funded by Mini Motors, and I wish they would, because I'm probably bringing a lot of business to their company just by making this review on the Voro motor scooter. They're saying invest in Mini Motors, like something like the Dualtron. They use better parts. Their parts are made here in this country. They don't cut as many corners. They have a base that they really put to the test. Well, that's something that Voro Motors and the EMove Cruiser didn't do. And what I see is not just with the Cruiser, it's with another model, the Mantis GT. And what they do a lot of times, they condescend to you. What they do is they make it like, well, it perhaps is your issue. No, it's your issue when you delete comments. Look at how many comments. There's no company that's going to have all positive comments. But if you look at their review pages, They delete the positive comments. But you know what doesn't lie? Their Better Business Bureau page. They're a shoddy business that does not know how to make a good scooter. If you go to their warehouse, you're going to see a lot of beautiful scooters. You're going to say, I should have one. I should have my friends have one. They're all beautiful scooters. They all advertise as such. Except when you really get down to it, it doesn't. Let me see if the light is doing what I just mentioned. The light just sits on top of the tire sometimes. It just falls over. And you got to tighten it almost every other day. Watch. So what I'm saying is, you might feel a rattle come along. You might see a rattle coming on when you're riding. You hit a bump or something like that, and you realize, oh wow, what's that noise? Is it the wheel? Is it? No, it's the light. It's swapped over, now it's bouncing off the tire. That's what happens with this scooter, with this design. Now, I saw recently on the Voro Motors page, on their Facebook page, right? I'm still connected to their page. They haven't blocked me yet. They're looking for ideas for the redesign of their new cruiser scooter. Boy, I can't wait for that. What they should do, how they should make it, what people want. And to tell you what, just like this one, it looked like a good scooter. It looks beautiful. It looks like it can handle speed bumps. It can look like it can handle potholes. It looks like a good scooter. Do I trust it? No. Would I recommend it to a friend? No, because or else they would not be my friend any longer. What else can I say about the scooter? It still looks good. One thing that I'm going to recommend when you get any scooter from any company, and something I'm happy I didn't do, they're going to ask you, even before you get the scooter, they're going to ask you, can you review my product? And companies, usually that have a shoddy record, they usually want you to review their product right away. Why? Because you've been waiting for it, you're anticipating it arriving, and when you get it, it's usually when you're going to feel the best about it, because nothing's supposed to go wrong, right? So they're going to ask if you can use this Google review for something, and they're going to really insist that you review their products. That's something by rule of thumb I don't do. I don't like to do that, because how are you supposed to know about a product before you even use it and before you had a chance to examine it? You should do that with everything. It's a basic lesson. Don't just admit anything into your life. Just see how it works first. See how it works with you, and see what it's doing to earn your trust. As far as Voro Motors, what they've done well, they've received my calls. They've always allowed me to take it in. Is my warranty over? Probably so. Has it been a good year of error-free rides? Absolutely not. The screws falling off. The bending mechanism broke twice until I finally got a stainless steel one from the hardware store. The brakes broke twice, so that's an added cost to repair, $40 2 times. And now the last thing that's going on with the scooter is that I finally saw a lot of the wobbling that it's doing is because the back tire right now has a flat, something that I didn't check. Like I said, I haven't been riding the scooter a lot. I haven't, because again, why do I want to ride something that is not going to work? I've been relying on my 9bot. By the way, 9bot has a $4,000 scooter that's sitting on the shelf right now. It might look interesting. I might review it sometime down the line. But again, I'm going to see how Voro Motors makes good on this scooter. And I hope to warn everybody who wanted to love this scooter, know that you are not the only one out there. And if your comment section, if your comments are being deleted from the Voro Motors page and the EMove Cruiser page on Facebook, just know that I am with you. Just know that you are not the only one. Just know that there are a lot of people out there who wanted to give Voro Motors a chance as a company if they saw them advertise on social media, wherever they advertise, and they wanted to love it but can't, because they realized it was a get rich and scheme more than a company. So you don't want to have people in business that just want to take your money and go. As someone who deals with photography, I like for the customer to be satisfied. Are there going to be customers that try to take advantage of that? Yes. Do you deal with them again? No. But do you want to give them a chance to love your product? Yes. That's why when I work with people, I make sure they're satisfied with their product. And one of the best ways to know that someone is satisfied is to ask them to fix something that needs to be fixed. Early on, when I started doing photography, I started using drones for wedding photography when a lot of people weren't doing it. Why? Because I want the customer to be satisfied. I didn't even charge them for it. Now, as far as this scooter, customer service who's in your front line, they're being held responsible for a lot of the shoddy work that the company does at the top. And this controller, that's not it. I worked in customer service for more than 7 years in the City College in New York, and I implemented a lot of new customer service methods. One thing is service the customer, and specifically to how they use their product. And the one thing that I always made sure is that I didn't insist that the customer was wrong. I said, how could I make a better experience for that person? And that's why I'm here in front of you, wanting to make a better experience for you who might decide to get the scooter, and then all of a sudden your son or daughter can't ride it during the holidays. All of a sudden your son who's doing deliveries can't get out of a bad area, or is just stuck with this thing that they purchased. You don't want to buy something that doesn't work. I like older products that last a long time. I'm someone who doesn't upgrade every so often. I had a TV Quasar, I remember back in the day, for more than 23 years. I've had a MacBook Pro since 2011 that still works fine for me. My car is not it's a 1995 car. I like when things work, and when things work, I keep it. And when things don't work, I want other people to know about it. The best way to keep a customer is to have a good product and have things work. If you don't hear from the customer, don't assume everything is going good. Find out what you did to lose that customer. If this company stays in business for a long time, it's because they listen to their customers and they work with the people who invested in them when they were not a big customer. Be loyal to your customers, be serviceable to your customers, and don't be arrogant about a product where you think you can't get better. Think about Epic bikes. Back in 2013, they came out with the Epic Ejo. Where are they now? Yeah, you might see one or two in the streets, but they did not listen to the customers. They went out of business. They had a similar issue. Do not go the way of the Dodo. Do not go the way of the Epic Ejo bike. I thought this was going to be a shorter video, but no. I want you to be informed as a customer. That's our #1 priority, especially during Black Fridays. I want people to be informed as far as what they're getting with this scooter. What does it say on the wall? The beauty of change. Change the way that you're doing, and I will take down. I'll take a different. I won't take down this review, but what I'll do is I'll make a positive review as to how you're helping customers. Because since I've spoken to you, I've met 5 customers already who had similar issues. I had one that bought the same scooters before he saw my review and took it back, and got another one from you and saw that the stem was breaking, and now he broke that, and now he took it back, and he was able to work with his financial institution so he won't be stuck with this machine. And now he bought another one from another company, and I won't say that other company's name, but I said it before in this video, and you should know what company that is. What else can you expect from this scooter? I think I've said everything that there is to say about the scooter. If you don't know about the P settings, go into the P settings. You might have a better experience with that. A lot of the positive reviews you see is because they're deleting comments, and you're just left with the positive ones. They're very dishonest in that way, and it shows a lot of arrogance. If I have something that doesn't work, I want people to know that it doesn't work. And until they fix this, I'm going to keep making videos so you are informed as a customer, and I'm going to speak from my experience and from those people that have come to me and said, this is something that I can't work with, and they won't work with me on it. Some people just don't want to take their scooter to New York every 2 months. Some people don't want to mail this big 67-pound box to California. I know they just opened one in a company in Hawaii, I believe, or they're going to open, and they're expanding. And I know they have one, I think, in the south, somewhere in the South Pacific. But again, as the company grows, they have to pay attention to their customers, or else they're going to go the way of Epic Bike. Epic Bike, remember, I gave you that review in 2013. I told you this is not working. You had a lot of issues, from controllers to electric batteries. You can silence a few people when it comes to a few products, but guess what? When people see that it's a shoddy product, they're going to use their voice so other customers know about it. And this is what the beauty of change is about. The wheels are 10 inches. As you see, the back tire is flat right now. As you see, it's still a good looking scooter. I've added a light to the front of it, and that's because the light that it comes with is not bright enough. It's not, especially if you're riding at night, you're doing deliveries. I don't do deliveries, but I did deliveries at one point, and I know that light that it comes with all the way at the bottom is not going to do it. It also has a light on the base, which is, it's neither here nor there. It's not, it's cool, but it's not that functional, let's say that. The folding mechanism, it's improved since I replaced the crappy aluminum rod that they put in there to keep everything together. Check to keep yourself safe. I would definitely wear a helmet with this, definitely, because you don't know if you have one of the controllers that is not working. Don't go as fast as you can. It's funny you have to say that about a product that you want to go fast in, but don't go as fast as you can, or else the brakes that you programmed it in is gonna make you fall over the steering wheel. The handlebars. The handlebars have another issue. They wobble. So it's something that, if you go on the website, they know about these issues. It wobbles. So if you're used to a 9-bot cruiser, the stem doesn't wobble. This the 9-bot Max, it's a sturdy machine. It doesn't have any suspension, but it's a better machine than this, in that the stem, it wobbles. And if you call them, a lot of people have stem issues too, and they'll delete those comments too. Sometimes you just test to see if they're going to delete something, and sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. About 70% of the time, they will delete the comments that have anything negative to say about this. But the stem, it wobbles, so you don't feel sturdy on this. And if you unscrew the handlebars a little bit, they say it makes it sturdier. It might a little bit, but it really doesn't. And that's a workaround. It doesn't fix the problem. It won't. So just know that before you go. The suspension, do you feel it? Yes, a little bit, but it's not that great. Some people modify it. If you know a lot about fixing bikes or scooters like that, you might make it into a whole new machine. But just straight out of the box, it's an inferior piece of machine. All the things that they advertise are things that you can get on a much cheaper machine. I don't know about the new one. I'm not going to give it a chance. The 9-bot, the new one that's come out for $4,000 might be a cool machine. Maybe because they improved on the original one that didn't have any suspension. But the price is a little high. If it's too high for you, don't get it. Test it out for a week, maybe take it back. But you might just get a Vespa for that price. Who knows? But that's been the review of the Voro Motors, the updated review on this controller stopping 20 times. So here it is. You could just, you could just chuck it. That's been the Voro Motors EMove Cruiser Scooter complete review of the update of the scooter stopping 20 times, deleting my comments, and I'm just going to keep coming back until you fix this issue. Or if you don't, I'll just go somewhere else like most people do. Bye. Have a great day. Black Friday. Take that.